answer. What do you say?
I think we should learn some things, some holy mouth of our shliach.
Okay.
Stop our decision to our B'Talem.
So now we're coming up to a big day. Most people don't know it exists on the Jewish calendar. Tu B'Av.
Oh.
How do you think?
Our parents' anniversary.
Okay. So the Gemara says in the end of Tainus that Lo Hayu Yom Tovim Li Yisrael K'Chamisha Asar B'Av. There's no greater holiday than the 15th of Av and Yom Kippur. So that's a question in itself. What's the comparison between the 15th day of Av and Yom Kippur? But that's another discussion.
White clothes.
Good point. So basically, it says in the holy books, in the holy Svarim, that the reason why it's such a special day is because of the concept of Yerida Tzarech Aliyah. Right? You go down, ultimately it's to go back up with even greater strength. So after we're coming from the Churban, the destruction, and Tisha B'Av, then we come to the 15th day, which the 15th day of the month is when the moon is complete, which the moon represents Am Yisrael. We count to the moon, whereas nations count by the sun. So the 15th day means the completion of Bnei Yisrael and our avodah and everything we got to do. So in truth, this is such a great Yom Tiv. Seemingly there's the 15th day of every month. Why just this month? Because this month comes after the Yerida of Tisha B'Av. After we go down, so we come back up with a lot more strength and vigor. And this is actually connected with the Gemara. The Gemara says, this is what I just said doesn't say in the Gemara. This is the Kabbalistic explanation of it. The Gemara, it says, one of the reasons, the Gemara gives many reasons. Not from Neach, maybe you know one of the reasons. Well, what's the idea of Chamisha Asar B'Av? What's the Yom Tif of Tu B'Av? The Gemara gives in kindness many number of reasons. So one reason the Gemara says is at that point, this is very interesting, that the Meisei Midbar, people who are dying out in the Midbar, the whole generation that were not allowed to enter the land, so they started passing on, and then the 15th day of the month, whatever, you know how the Medrash said, what they used to do, every day they used to dig a grave. It's pretty freaky actually. Every day they used to dig their own grave, lie down in it, and then some of them used to wake up and some of them didn't. So, and basically, the 15th day of the month, but actually, let's see what happened. Basically, that the 15th day of the month of Av is when they finished dying out. That generation finished dying out, and the new generation was ready to go into the land. Okay? So what happened there? So the Gemara says, actually, that the last people who died out of that generation actually died the 9th day. We're following here? Yeah. The people the generation that were not allowed to enter the land. So they died out in the Midbar. What happened? Every day, some people used to pass away, or whatever. And at the 15th day of Av, they realized that no one is dying anymore. That's finished. That stage finished. We have a new generation ready to go. But actually, the 15th day was when they discovered it. But that fact actually happened on the 9th day of Av. The last people who died died on the 9th day. So what does that show us? That the 15th day of the month reveals what really happened on the 9th day of the month. Oh. So the 15th day of the month, which is a Yom Tif, right. You're right. So too the Rebbe says regarding us, that we have the 9th day of the month, which is the day of sadness. And then the 15th day of the month, the 15th day of the month is the day of joy. 15th day of the month is the day of joy. And the 15th day of the month redefines the 9th day of the month. And the Rebbe says that in itself is a message of Moshiach. What's the message of Moshiach? The message of Moshiach is to transform the negativity into good. So the 15th day of the month transforms the 9th day. Whatever we understand the 9th day of Churban, of Yerida, whatever it represents, this comes along and transforms. Here comes a very nice idea the Rebbe shares with us. Where is this Gemara about the 15th day of Av? It's in the end of Masechtas Tainus. What's Tainus about? What's the idea about Tainus?
So we're going to bring rain.
When we have to do Teshuvah, when we're lacking in our avodah or a tinus on a churban, right? We have to fast on a churban. So the last point of the tinus, the Rebbe says, the Gemara is teaching us, the last step of the whole process of a tinus is really a Yom Tiv that's greater than all the other Yom Tiv. Because it reveals that all the Tanesim and all the difficult period was all to lead up to this great period of time. And similarly, we find in the Rambam. The Rambam, at the end of the halachas of Tainus, he writes that when he discussed all the halachas of Tainus, and then he ends up, all the Tanesim will be void in the times of Moshiach. And not only that, they will be transformed to days of Simcha. And the Rebbe says it's also connected with the idea of, it talks about Mashiach, that all the holidays, it says in the famous idea, we all know that all the holidays will be batal when Mashiach comes. Chassidus explains, you mean there's not going to be a Hanukkah? We're not going to have donuts? I'm saying, what does it mean the holidays are going to be batal?
No, Yom Kippur.
So Chassidus explains that the revelation of Mashiach will be so great that all the holidays will pale in comparison. So that's the same idea, that the Chamisha Asar B'Av is an idea of Mashiach, because it's taking the negativity and transforming it, and that creates the greatest light. And the Rebbe basically explains that that's the whole idea, how we have to look at our period in Galus. That everything we're doing in Galus is all a lead up to build up for Mashiach. And therefore, we're like building behind the scenes. You know what I mean? We're building the props. And it's all about waiting. It's all about bringing the complete Mashiach. And the Rebbe ends up with the simple lesson for us. The Gemara continues that in Tainus, that at that point, the 15th day of Av, the nights grow longer, and therefore there's a special emphasis on learning Torah at night, to increase in Torah study at night. Yeah. So the Rebbe says, it's actually brought down in Halacha, in Alter Rebbe, that we always have to increase in Torah study. The Rebbe gives us a big job. The Rebbe says to increase quantitatively and qualitatively in the Oirech, Cherechiv, Oimek, all these different terms, and to add in tzedakah, and to add in how much we give and how we give it, and within how much we give, until now we give meiser, now we should give a chomish. The Rebbe really raises the bar here, and as the Rebbe always says, to go mechayil al chayil, which means not to go from one step to another, but to jump steps, to like a quantum leap, to go be'ein aroich, from one step to another, and hopefully this will all lead to Mashiach Tzidkeinu, Tikvah Yad Mamish, we increase in Torah study and giving it tzedakah.
Amen.
What was the story of what are the other things that happened?
A number of things. Binyamin was allowed to marry tribesmen of Binyamin. There's a story with what was the thing called? Something to give up. Shivcha to give or something. There was
like trading
yeah. No,
That's
that's not
thing.
in kindness.
That's just the general story too about how they would all have everyone all the
Yeah, that's not the reason
that's
for
a
the
different story. That's like a detail of the
Yeah,
simcha.
exactly. One of the reasons is actually a fascinating, puzzling reason. The Rebbe discusses that they stopped cutting wood for the Mizbeach on the 15th day because the sun weakens and therefore the wood wasn't dry enough to be used on the Mizbeach. It wasn't perfect.
There was somebody who wanted to draw it, who wanted to bring it to the family.
You're right, and it was a job split up by the families to bring the wood. So that it's in Aracha. Another reason was because the Shvatim were allowed to marry into each other at a certain point in history on that day. A number of different reasons. But according to Chassidus, the reason is because it's redefining the whole Tisha B'Av. We take the negativity of Tisha B'Av and we reveal and we transform it to the positive energy. That's the greatest sense of the
What is Jewish thought say?
There's no such thing.
Tuba.
Well, everyone knows it as tuba, but in the Fruma Welt, it's more of a joke.
It's completely different than Valentine's. All the similarities, it has to do with the idea of a woman coming together.
But we used to do it. It was a fun thing people did then. Like people used to go.
It was idea of it was